Um, yeah, hi guys. So today I wanted to talk about one of my pet topics. One of my pet topics that I talk about all the time. I'm probably gonna make a lot of videos on this, almost like it's a track, like it's a song, and I'm just gonna keep recording it. But my pet topic is about the purpose and meaning of words. Um, and probably later I'll go into like numbers and how numbers count as words. But the purpose of words for humans, and it's one of our most powerful tools, is spoken word and later written word. But the purpose of words is to relate information from one member of a species to another member of the species. And this allows something that we call communication. The purpose of words is communication. What is communication? Communication is the activity of sharing information. Now, where does information come from? Information is data. It's gathered by our senses. So when we communicate, root word commune, so when we commune or we come together, come means con with in Spanish, in the Romance language, come together means communicate, means come together, but it means more than that. It means to go back and forth sharing information. And information is data which comes from our senses. So our experience is stored in our mind like a computer, like we have memories. We store those experiences, that data. It gets coded and it's imperfect, and we don't store what happened. We store our experience of what happened, right? And we store that in here. We come in contact with another human, we start talking to them using words. And what we're attempting to do is to relate our experiential information to the other human using words. But what happens is, and what's supposed to happen is that everybody knows what the words mean. And if everybody knows what the words mean, then the communication is supposed to sort of happen smoothly. But of course, um, when I was in high school, I did something strange that most people don't do, and a lot of people, when I tell them I'm on autism spectrum disorder, they there's a lot of skepticism. And before it was more popular to talk about autism, a lot of people were super skeptical, and I was like, well, thank you for denying me my life experience and diagnosis. But like, yeah, I read the dictionary in high school, a pocket version. It was about this big. uh but most people don't do that, and I'm not saying people should do that. I'm weird. uh I wanted to do that, you know. That was fun for me. I liked it. I found a lot of patterns in language, and in like base words and root words and stuff. But what's supposed to happen is we all know what the words mean, and colloquially the words are used a particular way most of the time in like social life. And oftentimes, instead of reading dictionaries, what people do is they gain meaning of words using context and the way that the word is used. And oftentimes they only know the way that the word is used, not what the word actually is defined to mean. And the reason why I actually like word definitions and knowing them is because it allows you to use language much more creatively, almost like mathematics. You start putting in different definitions, and then you can start using adjectives and different caveats, and uh, uh, sort of, you can use the broad definition and then zero in on what you mean, right? And it allows you to use language a lot more creatively. The problem with that is then you're using words correctly, logically mean what you say you mean. But since people don't know the broad definition of the word and they only know how it's typically used, if you use it in a way that's contrary to how it's typically used, they will only think it means how it's typically used. This is also a problem with people who read a lot or who don't socialize as much, because you might get different contexts for words if you're reading old books or different books, or you get into like these different like cultural niches of like, oh, I've heard this word used this way, but other people that use it a different way. So then we're trying to communicate, we're trying to relate our experience to another human. And this is like super powerful stuff because we learn from each other's experiences this way and we work together this way, right? Because when we can find two humans whose experiences match up in a way that they're kind of heading in the same direction, then they can work together to build things. And that's powerful stuff. Now, what I've noticed in the world is that as much as we try and want there to be bad guys, there's often just a bunch of humans pursuing self-interest in combination with collective interest of people who are around them. And they don't necessarily want to hurt anybody. I don't know why you would want to hurt somebody except maybe revenge. But like, there's no like reason, or maybe you're going to steal their resources. But honestly, I feel like if somebody could get what they wanted without having to take something from somebody else, like why wouldn't you do that? So like, I don't think it's a natural tendency. Humans want to, I mean, that's a big argument. I'm not even going to go there because I want to keep this conversation to be about communication and this pet topic of mine of the meaning of words and how we miscommunicate all the time when we think we're communicating really well, and how this causes lots of problems. So what I want to advocate for people to do is to assume that whoever they're talking to is good, that that they have good intentions, they're a good person, they want to do good things, they're not trying to hurt anybody, and even if they are, that they have made a calculated decision out of a utilitarian mindset to maybe make a sacrifice here to try and make a greater good somewhere else. At least just assume the person you're talking to has good intentions. And from there, when they're using language and they trigger you in some kind of way because you think they mean something that is bad and would make them a bad person, instead, approach it with curiosity and say, what do you mean when you say this word or that word? With that curiosity, you might find that they mean something dramatically different, or that they just have a different context of experience that they're working with that leads them to a logical conclusion. And really, I'm just going to talk about this over and over. It's called semantics. It's the practice of talking about the meaning of words. And people, and actually, it's funny because semantics is like a word that people don't actually know the meaning of, but they only know it in the context of, oh, you're being semantic right now. And they think that means, oh, you're just like going off on some side tangent that we don't need to go off on. But it's actually super important because you can't even have an argument with somebody unless you want to argue with ghosts, or like, you know, they prop up this thing and they say it's called capitalism. And before they define what it is, you're like, oh, I hate capitalism because I know what you mean. And you mean that the thing that Marx hates. And so I'm going to attack your ideas because I don't even know what your ideas are. But I think I know what they are because you said capitalism, and I have a very strong definition of what capitalism is, and it is bad, which means you are a bad person. I need to attack you. Right? Or conversely, like this person is like, oh, you said you're a socialist. That means communism. That means dictatorship. That means Mao, Pol Pot, Stalin, Putin, Xi Jinping. Like, that's communism. And before I even know what you mean when you say socialism or democratic socialism, I'm like, oh, you're a communist. You're a bad person. You believe in not freedom, blah, blah, blah. Like, and we want to argue, but we're actually arguing past each other, because what if when this person talks about capitalism, what if they hate monopoly? You know, what if they believe in like fair competition in a fair free marketplace, you know, and they actually hate the form of capitalism that we have right now. And you're attacking them because you didn't take the time to actually even listen to see what they meant when they used the words, because you assumed that your meaning of the words and their meaning of the words were the same. And maybe you have the right definition, but who cares? Because the point of talking is not to have the right definition. The point of talking is to communicate, which means sharing our experiences with each other. Because when we share our experiences with each other, we can learn from each other. And if we can find common ground, we can work together. And what I think our lack of wanting to have semantic conversations and patient, long format conversations, it is causing us to create a bunch of division and block us from creating synergy and blocking us from our maximum creativity. Thank you, Kenton Van Dunk, for, if anybody in Milwaukee knows Kenton, who's promoting this Creative Party of America. It's good language. I like his language, this idea that we should promote maximum human creativity. And I think miscommunication is something that causes a lot of blocked synergy where there should have been synergy, or could have been, or at least more learning and understanding. So I guess, like, slow down with each other, guys. Be patient with each other. Like, extend grace. What does that mean? Like, assume the other person is good, even if you think they're fucking up, and be gentle in how you tell them that they're fucking up, because in the process of you being gentle and listening to them, you might find out that actually you were wrong and they weren't fucking up and they meant something totally different than what they said or what they did. Anyways, that's semantics and the meaning of words. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Eat healthy. Move your body. Bye.